Evolve 360, conscious evolution. What will it take to evolve consciously individually and as a society? How will you lead a life and business with soul? Welcome to the Evolve 360 Shelley Shell Show with hosts
Cheli Grace
and Shelley Devine. Hey, soul sister, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So excited to be here today, sharing some wonderful conversations with everybody that's on the call and that is going to listen to us later. So, are you guys ready to set an intention? Well, let's move forward, and may our conversations today guide you to a new way of thinking and to realize that you have unlimited possibilities in anything that you want to do. I'm so excited, Shell, because we really have somebody really special on the show today.
Oh, she's amazing. As a matter of fact, I mean, Shelley, you and I both have had the opportunity to work with her. She's really, truly gifted. And from my own background, I'm usually really skeptical about healers because I did this work for several years. So for me to allow somebody to work with me and find somebody who could actually do what, for me to have like a actual transformation after a 1 hour session with her on Zoom, no less, I was like blown away. So anyways, let me give you the introduction, everybody, of who's coming on to the show. So today's guest is a quantum energy and sexual healer and a divine feminine confidence and love mentor. Her passion for rediscovering what true unconditional love is comes from her own journey back to remembrance of her own feminine divinity. As a spiritual teacher, she guides women back to their divine sensuality by facilitating healing and growth through self-love practices, transformational mentoring, and introspective mindfulness. She works one-on-one with clients and hosts workshops, retreats, and webinars for women all over the world. We'd both like to welcome to the show and let more love and abundance into your life with Karolina Blaszkiewicz.
Hey, I am so excited to be here, Shell, with Karolina. And as we were saying earlier, we've got to think about which direction we want to go now as we're moving forward in 2021. And Shelley was saying that she had done some extensive work with Karolina. One session, she got really deep into those, I call them the gutters, right?
Oh, yeah. The mind muck, everything.
Exactly. And I also have done some work, some sessions with Karolina. And I love doing these analogies, right? It's like cleaning your house. You know, a lot of us maintain our house and we really don't have someone that comes to deep clean all the time. But boy, that's how I look at Karolina. She goes in there and she deep cleans us and we see clear. We have more clarity. We have more peace. I know for me, I had some things that I didn't really know I had, but there they were in the unconscious holding me back from success. Because that happens a lot, or holding you back from love. So I just want to say, I'm so excited that you're here, Karolina. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for joining us, Karolina. It's great having you here.
Thank you so much, ladies, for inviting me here. I'm like, when I see your energy, like, I'm excited.
It's great. So where are you living right now? Because the last time we spoke, you were in Bali and then you went to Switzerland. You're all over the world.
And at this moment, I'm in Slovenia, small country in Europe. So yes, all over. And we are planning to go to Portugal and Spain after New Year. So yeah.
Wow.
We do what we are guided. You know, we listen constantly our spirits, and next move is going to be south, like more that direction, Portugal and Spain.
So how are you managing all this travel to different countries with all the COVID going on? You know, the pandemic and stuff. How's that? I'm curious. I'm like a lot of people.
I mean, I feel like I'm in bubble. Basically, we're supposed to come back to Europe in March this year, but the COVID happened. So we're supposed to stay 2 months in Thailand. And then, of course, this happened. Our flights were canceled. So we stay another 7 months. which was great. Small island, beautiful island, sunshine, palms, everything, coconuts, what else you want. So I spent a lot of work, I mean, both of us, diving deep in ourselves, connecting. We've grown so much, connected on different realms, and, focusing on online, so because I couldn't do offline sessions, so then fully I started being more visible on online, so reaching people from different parts of the world in different ways. So it was perfect as well. And then being with my mom, a bit of healing there, and now we are with my partner family, a bit of healing there, and then we're just gonna go somewhere else. So it's
It
all good.
sounds like, when people go to, say, some tropical places or warm places, they think of themselves in, like, going to paradise or heaven, like being in paradise, living in paradise. It sounds like that's what you got going on. And for these people who are home dealing with COVID and stuff, who are feeling like they're in like a pattern of hell, what would you say to them to raise your vibration?
I mean, it's all about attitude. I could easily panic in Thailand and say, oh my God. And to be honest, when this happened, first thought of like my mind was started telling me, we're on tiny island, really tiny island. And oh my God, if the COVID gonna happen here, if one person get it, everyone get it, and they will cut the delivery of the food. So what we gonna eat? They just coconut. Oh my God, how we gonna survive? I could easily go through, like thinking that way.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then we just said, okay, whatever gonna happen, happen. If you're gonna eat just coconut and drink coconut, then it's okay as well. We will be fine.
And wear fig leaves.
Exactly.
So it's all about attitude and connecting with yourself, and you will be guided.
Absolutely. So what would you share with the listeners today about moving in 2021, finding their love partner? I know that you do a lot with love and with money. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Especially, because right now, like you said, we're at home. We can't like date like we used to. You go to, parties and you meet people. It's not really happening. So what advice do you have to those out there that are trying to find their significant other?
So first, connecting with yourself, everything will come. Like I met my fiance online, which I was the last person who could think even that I can meet my partner online. I was thinking this is no way. I'm not going through any website, any apps, any swipes, anything like that. And it happened. This was the last option that I could even think about.
Was it on a dating site or was it?
No, it wasn't. It was in a community, but it was online.
Oh, wow.
See, that's a little, that sounds a little more appealing to, I know myself that is single.
Exactly.
If I was going to meet somebody, that would be optional.
Absolutely. Wow. So we need to get out of thinking how I'm going to meet him. Just align yourself. If there are any beliefs that you need to still shift, like I was doing a lot of work at the time on myself, like, do you trust men? Trust is the number one thing that I can see. This is the biggest blockage. People are holding back themselves from opening their heart again for love. So tune into yourself, see what else needs to be shifted. Trust. Do you feel safe with men? Do you trust men? Do you trust yourself? Number one, to be able to move forward. And it's all coming from our energy. When you're gonna be aligned and knowing what you want, clarity, another thing is very important. So I often see when women coming to me, it's like, I want a man, I want a relationship. But it's like going to library and asking, I want a book. What book? Like how many pages?
That's so observant. That is so observant. I love it because it's like, okay, you're actually asking for something that's okay. Like when people make those lists of stuff and, like, okay, but are they really getting what they really want to feel?
Oh my gosh, I did that. I made a list after I had went through this torrid divorce for 2 years. I didn't even want to see a man. And then I said, okay, universe, I'm ready. So I made this list and I put it, and I met my husband in a crazy way. Now, granted, we weren't going through COVID, but it was through a business networking event that my partner that had, you know, told me to go cancels on the last minute. And I'm just so frustrated because you know, I'm like, this is an hour and a half away from where I live. And I'm glad I stayed because I met the love of my life. So you never know, right?
Exactly, you're guided there. Exactly, exactly. This
That was
when
so
when
good.
you align and have clarity, and I'm sure when you could go through this list, you would see like, oh, he's got this and he's got that. You know, like I did the same. You know, it's like
Right.
I want him to be in spirituality, and he must be family man, and he must be loyal, and I just put this, and it just happened. And honestly, online thing was the last thing that I could think about, but it just happened. And then a few months later, we started traveling together. So all is possible.
Wow. So share a little bit more with what should we do? Like, Shell, have you done a list?
Well, the only thing I wanted to add too, because is that list is great. The only thing is you can't just stick to the list. Your emotions have to be
Right.
in alignment.
Right.
And I think
Absolutely.
that's where people miss the beat. You guys obviously had your emotions in alignment with your list.
Absolutely.
If they're not,
Absolutely.
then you're going to attract, you know, like what you was talking about before is that book, you know, like you go and you're picking out a book and just randomly like, oh, this is a book. And
But it's the
all
same
flat.
book.
It's not the torrid romance novel that you're looking for or whatever, because your emotions aren't up to date with your list.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, you're absolutely
And that's
right.
why inner work is so important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or you attract the same guy that you really don't want to attract.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is where we need to sit with ourselves and see where I am keep repeating the same cycle over and over again. Do I repeat the same kind of man over and over again? Like I meet lots of women that they keep meeting people who are, or men are not available. So then I need to go in and actually, am I available? Or maybe I'm saying that I am, but I'm kind of hiding. I had one client that she was like, yeah, I am available. And when we were diving deeper, because she was constantly attracting either a man just after marriage or long relationship, of course he was not gonna commit, or kind of in a marriage, or someone who is addicted to certain things. So he's not there for her. Right. And we were diving deep, and what's happened? This was her self-sabotaging pattern to not really invest herself in that relationship and not truly open and trust, because there was a deep fear of being hurt again. So this is really important when we then shift, clear all of that, and we really know what we want, like beautiful Shelley said, then we believe it. We see this list, it's like, yeah, this is where I'm going, and this is what I'm feeling, and I'm not going for less than that. And it just happened.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because I know I still, I'm at the grocery store today and I caught eyes with this guy. You know, we got the masks on. So now you only see, you know, like, you know, eyes, and it's like, you don't know what's underneath that mask. And it's like, it could be a horror show, but the eyes were nice. But anyways, aside from that, I got like a little scared, and I could identify in me where I wasn't ready to like attract a guy that I would be attracted to, actually, because I've gone out with a ton of guys, but I was never attracted to them. And now I'm like, I'm seeing men that I'm attracted to, but I had like this deep inner fear, and it's exactly what you said. And I'm like, now I'm more comfortable in allowing it to clear through.
Yeah. Or just allow yourself not to be ready. This is another thing. Like women coming and said, I want men, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then when we talk, it's so clear that she's not ready yet. And I'm introducing them to like a season cycle. You said, it's okay. If winter is for you, just hibernate. What we do in the winter now? We're going to hibernate, having nice coffee or tea and book, and that's it. Then spring is, we're just going to, you know, like having new ideas. We have more energy. You know, we want to do more things. And summer is a harvesting. The best if we harvest what, you know, we planted, you know, in during spring. Autumn is just slowing down and preparing for winter, and therefore revising what I liked and what I didn't like, you know. And often women are in autumn where like either something is going on in a relationship or they're just not ready. They need to review actually what I like in previous relationship, what I don't, or I didn't, you know, or what else I need to shift in me. Winter is just hibernating, and they are in winter or autumn, but they want to be already in spring and summer. And this is very easy. You can see that, like I said, so imagine like is a winter full of snow outside of your house, and you're taking fire and trying to melt the fire and speed up the whole process. You can't. If you are in winter, you're just doing inner work, connecting with yourself, hibernating. When you're gonna feel being in spring, the inner sprouts are just gonna come out, and you're gonna know, you're gonna have glowing face and eyes and smile, and I'm ready, you know?
Right. What a beautiful way of putting it, Karolina. You know, and it's so true, because sometimes we jump from one relationship to the next, but we don't heal ourselves, and we don't have time to reflect on maybe what didn't work out, so we can maybe work on ourselves. Because if not, I know in my past lives, I tended to attract the same kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, hold up, got to work on me, because that's not what I wanted in my future.
And this analogy we can take to any area of your life, whether it's like project, job. You want to change a job, first like review, slow down, go within, just revise your life, reflect a bit, pause. And then when you connect with yourself, your soul will guide you. It's like, hey, go and contact with this person. But when we going with mine, it's like, I want spring. Okay, I am in autumn, but I want spring or summer. It's not gonna work with any area of our life. Even we know, like we are working on our businesses. Can you force anything? If you are in winter, but you have ideas and you want to force things, you can't. Right. It's not gonna work. We need to wait until it's the hibernation, until we totally align and things like this, like that.
Yeah, this is great.
It is great.
It is. And I'm really curious, because I've known you for a while now, but I've never asked you, how did you ever get into this work? Because you are a truly gifted healer.
Absolutely.
I mean, what you do, did you just wake up one day and say, this is what I'm going to do? Or how did you come across, you know, and we've known each other now for 4 years, and wow, I could just say, wowza, wow.
I mean, my awakening was through pain. So this happened when my brother committed suicide. So I was so much in pain, in grief, and all this grief brought the grief from all my life, all the traumas that I went through and so on. And this really pushed me on this path of healing, especially that the pain I had, it felt like not only I lost brother, but I felt like I lost my child. And later on my healing journey, I understood that we had like soul contracts. And that's why I couldn't heal. I was doing so much and it felt super painful. And sometimes we have soul connection. We decided to come on this planet together. So when someone leaves, it's just like unbearable. So I had also soul shift, during this time, because my original soul, I know for some people this is super woo-woo, and that's okay.
We're here to ground it for people. Because I do the woo-woo, Shelley grounds it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect.
Puts it in the real world.
So basically, through this healing journey, I am a former accountant. I started failing all my last exams. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I cannot pass any exams. I stop enjoying the job. And I'm like, what is going on? So this was like a first thing that started showing up in my life, that I stopped enjoying my job, even though I chose that and I studied so many years accountancy. And the conversation in the office, I couldn't relate to them any longer. So like there were slowly signs that's showing me that something is going on. I didn't understand at the time. And for all this journey of healing, connecting, I was like, universe, okay, if this is not accountancy, what the hell am I supposed to do? Show me. And literally 3 months later, I could feel pull, like I had rope in my belly and someone is just like pulling me. I said, you're going to London and you're going for this training. I'm like, I was reading this website, something about energy. Like I didn't have clue what they're talking, like Chinese, for me. But I said, okay, let me go. My friends asked me, so what is this training about? I'm like, no idea. And you pay for this? Yes. So I went for this training, and the moment I entered the room, I felt home. Like I've done this before. Wow. And then we did, of course, practicing, some healing sessions. And the man this was my first session with someone. He said, oh my God, you are so amazing. How long you've been doing this? I said, this is my first time, because I thought this kind of things people, doing when they have to be born with this,
Right.
So from this moment, everything exploded, all of it. So this is then I quit my job. We started traveling in Asia. Then I started studying with different healers, different teachers, and expanding. And yeah, here you go. I am.
Yeah, I
Here
have
we
to
are.
say, and I did say at the beginning of the podcast before you came on, Carolina, is that I've worked in energy work for a lot of years, and then I set it aside because I felt like it was disrupting my life. I wasn't ready to listen to that pull completely and let go of a certain part of my life. And it's always been challenging or difficult for me to find somebody that I could have work on me and feel like I got anything out of it, because I felt like and I've worked with some pretty significant individuals over the years. And just for listeners listening out there to this, if you're interested in energy work, this girl has above and beyond what you could experience from anybody
Yes.
probably locally that I've even and I've gone to I've worked with a lot of different people, and I could not have them work on me because I would get residual from them, or something that wasn't, or they just couldn't move through all those layers that you described. And the quantum healing, and what could you give a description of what quantum healing is? Because that is actually a new term for me, even though I like it, even though I get it, but I wonder what the new, like, because your training is actually the
Theta
energies
healing.
and the vibrations that are
It-
coming in now through you
Mhm.
are, I wouldn't say
Yes.
necessarily newer, but the perceptions and the perspectives are, because I've seen some of the other stuff, or I've been in, some workshops or whatever with other things, and I'm like, this ain't it. This is like, rehashed whatever. This is far different, far advanced, and brings in a whole other level of I'd say enlightenment and awakening, and kind of rips, like what Shelley was saying, does the whole, cleans the muck out.
Roto-rooter.
It's a roto-rooter, and it
Yeah.
really gets you back into the shape and an alignment that you need to be in.
Mhm.
No, I went on with that, but I just wanted to reiterate, because I feel like I was pretty good at doing what I was doing, and it was always hard for me to find
And
somebody
you are. You are.
who could work with me and do something at the same level. And I think it's rare to find somebody like that. That's my point. So if anybody's out there that wants to work with a healer, right here, this girl.
Absolutely. And I second that, because
Yeah.
I too have been around the world with different healers, and I have never had the level of clarity and of just releasing like that 25-pound cloak around me.
Yeah.
Because, it's that energy that weighs you down that you just don't know. It's like taking off that coat
Yeah.
and finally being free. I just,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So share with us, what is quantum
it's
healing?
really hard to explain what I do, because you lady knows,
Yeah.
because every session is different. What I'm doing, I'm just seeing the energy and what is in your energy field, or what is trapped in your body, and I'm guiding you. So I'm connecting always with the source, and of course I am guided, and then I'm guiding my client. So it's a game of being super present, listening what is needed in a moment. And of course it depends, because every session is different. Either you feel that some stuff needs to be released from the body, physical body, so then I'm helping to get access to that. And therefore then the client can basically release that, and then feel the shift. And the shift is happening on quantum field, so on your field. That's why it's quantum healing, because the shift is like that. We don't need to heal years. You can literally in one session shift so much, it's quite difficult for me to explain because I work on so many levels. Like it depends where person is. We can just work on releasing like emotions, trapped emotions that holding you back, shifting beliefs that are holding you back. But then we can really go into astral journeys and clearing really on multi-dimensional level, like implants, like things that hanging in your energy field, and karmic energy. So we playing from many different, we doing many different things, and I don't even know how I'm doing. I'm just guided and I'm just doing,
Right.
So for those of you who don't understand anything that we're talking about, think of buying your dream home. And you hire Karolina because she's your fabulous decorator. And she stands in front of your dream home and she says, she looks at you and she looks at your home and she says, I think if you paint it this color and we move some things around here and we put some plants around there, you're going to feel fabulous. And lo and behold, you do in an instant. So basically, I mean, that's kind of like an analogy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you do. And there is no one size fits all because we're all very unique. We're all different individuals. We all have experiences. We all have our own journeys. And that's what's beautiful. That's what I love about Karolina, that, so many times you go to events or healers and they have, everybody together and doing the same thing. We're all different. And it's important to understand that.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you give a reading of the person's physical anatomy, their energetic anatomy, their spiritual anatomy or auric field anatomy, and then even beyond that, like lifetime beyond that, karmic stuff, with whether it's positive or negative, and really help people have that shift of a waking up to themselves and becoming more truly who they are.
100%. So this is actually become really like, it's so funny how I'm shifting as I'm growing. Like this year really showing up that I'm helping actually, I'm helping women with love, money, limiting beliefs and so on. This is for sure, this is what we all dealing with this because of all this programmings and system. But what you said, it's really this year is really showing me that I am waking up people to remember who they are on soul level as the sovereign being. And we need to release all of that so we can truly align with our soul. And then we are unstoppable. We are so infinite. And our soul remembers that part, that feeling that we are whole and complete. We are without traumas, without beliefs. And this is what I'm really feeling that I'm called to really help people to remember. You are not the trauma. You are not the sadness or anger or certain experience. We just, of course, need to heal that, but also we need to reconnect with this part of the soul that is so connected with the source energy, God energy, whatever you call that it remembers, I am infinite, I am whole, I'm complete. Look at my gifts, look at my talents. This is how I'm going to share them with the world. And I feel this strongly right now.
Wow, I think that's awesome. And I mean, you're speaking about, your entire life and business with soul. You had said earlier that you went from being an accountant and now you're a healer. That's quite a pivot.
Yes.
Right. Everybody's talking about pivot with COVID.
Yeah.
And you have now this new business that you started, doing what you're doing. I mean, you've been at it for a little bit of a while, but how did that all occur where you really felt, okay, you had the pull, you went into, you learned about healing and energy stuff, and you found that you had this gift or a calling. And how did how did it come through to you to start a business now doing this as your, career, or how did you do that?
It all comes trusting yourself and trusting, connecting with your heart. Your heart knows. So instead of being with mind and trying to figure it out things, with your mind, you're not going to figure it out. And you can just get depressed, because of that, or will take you to a certain point and that's it. But when you quiet that mind and drop yourself, the awareness to your heart. In your heart is the universe energy, is the source, is the higher self, is everything. All the answers, all the wisdoms is in your heart. And just listening those nudges. So listening your body is so important, because the body is the connection to universal wisdom. This is how the unseen, our guides connecting with us, but also is giving you nudges like, it feels good to be around this person. It feels good to do that. Let me explore more. Let me connect with this person. How do you get these nudges? Through your body. So what I've noticed, like so many people are in heads, completely disconnected from body, from heart. We don't need to call this soul, like heart. And we really need to quiet that mind, especially now COVID, quiet your mind, drop to on a body level. Body level, it gives you so many, things that you can, listen, even what is happening within you or your blockages, where you're sabotaging yourself. It tells you all the time. And when you listen every day, your heart tells you, your heart knows always, your soul always knows. And there is always divine solution for anything. And we just need to listen. So I wouldn't have clue how to have online business, how to venture in South Asia without even savings or anything. We just needed to trust. And trust was hard. I'm telling you, I had proper anxiety. Because of course, not knowing how the hell am I gonna get some clients, not savings, and we are just in the middle of Asia somewhere, not having any help. So practicing trust, whatever you call this, trust in universe, trust in your heart, trust your soul, trusting yourself, whatever you called it, just trusting that what you're doing is right, and constantly listening. I could tell you many stories how we've been in so many crazy situations. Like I'll give you actually one example. We've lost all money in some point, we had some collaboration, went totally wrong. Lack of alignment. Alignment is everything.
Yes.
And because of that, we've lost everything. We are in Bali, no money. I'm telling you that we didn't even know how we're going to feed ourselves next week. We literally were living week by week. And my partner got ill. And of course, like I was like, and now what? So we still trusted that things will come. Literally a few days later, I met someone and he said, oh my God, you're doing this. I'm going to refer you to someone. And basically I spoke with the manager. She said, okay, you need to do session on one of the hair manager to see how you are. And then, I did this and they said, oh my God, let's work with us. And I got this job in this women's center that they are doing, like retreats for women. So we need to trust and constantly being in our hearts. And this is the shortcut, basically. You will get where you need to go, whatever belongs to you, you will get there. But you can do like this shortcut, or you can just go around and, thinking and overthinking and trying and whatever.
I have another question about that, because you had, I'm sure, being an accountant, a very
Analytical.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
And a very pragmatic approach to
Yes.
probably life. How did you, in those early days of learning how to trust? Because I can think of some clients that I have through boot camp that have that mindset and can't make that leap into that energetic realm until some sort of crisis might hit them. But like, what was your, what were maybe some little nuggets there that you really noticed that helped you in that shift of being able to trust?
So you see, we all are creative and we are all spiritual, and we all have this connection with ourselves. When we are children, like I loved creating something, but you were right. Through my experiences, or, with my father and so on, I had to be so practical. Because my father was an alcoholic. I never knew what's going to happen next moment. So this put me constantly using this left brain side, and constantly be analytical, strategizing. Is he going to be like this? Is he going to be like that? Of course, then I ventured to UK, and again, is a survival. It's like what you're doing when when you're on survival energy, you're trying to find a way with using this left side of your brain. And of course, like and my first job was care assistant with I look after old people with dementia, which was really hard job.
Oh.
And my mind was only thinking, I need to get out of that. So how can I better my life? Okay, let's do accountancy. So I did this, and I enjoyed that for sure. I didn't feel like this is my calling, but I enjoyed that. So life forced me to be so analytical, so practical, and so on. But on soul level, on a deeper level, I always like creating, but I couldn't. There was no space for that when I was child. So after my brother death and, being in pain, I was trying things all the time to ease that pain. So one of them was mindfulness courses or meditation. And this helped me to drop from mind to heart. But the truth is, where I really connected and expanded, it was when I started my own business. Because, when you are in job, you are told what to do. You learn what you need to do. So you're doing automatically, probably most of the time. And so you're not using your creative energy. And then I decided to quit my job, and I was like, fuck. Now I need to really create. And I needed to switch from this side to this side, and I need to collaborate. And I'm telling you, this is where I started, when I reconnected with this creative part of me again. So I highly recommend, if someone is, first, number one, who is in head, do whatever, whether it's shaking, meditation, chanting or singing, anything, or doing crafts, anything that helps you to drop in your body first, because then you ignite the fire in your, like, oh my God, I love doing this, or creating that, or dancing, and this ignite that energy in you. And then you really become so strong that you listen, oh, maybe I'm gonna do more of that, and this is how I listen. Oh, maybe I'm gonna do that. And all of this was slowly opening me up, and more and more. And sometimes I'm so creative that I cannot sleep. So
because you're so energized.
Exactly. But those are really great practical tips, because a lot of times, I know I was in my head a lot, just like you were, because you were an accountant. I managed systems and people, and I always did my woo underground. Like I always, we studied our stuff, and it helped me energetically, but kind of like in the shadows, because I couldn't bring that out. And for those of you that are listening, I think it's important that there comes a point, like Karolina said, she just, it was hard for her to go to work. It was hard, and if some of you can't just make that leap, start a side hustle. I'm all about side hustles, but,
absolutely.
But it's good practical advice, because when you're in your head, you've got to loosen up, and dancing and doing all the things that you said is just great practical tips.
Or go back to, what did you like to do when you were a child, maybe, and because of certain situation like mine, we go through different things, you couldn't continue that. So whatever was making you happy, some people like reading, riding horses, walking, being more in nature, just reconnect with that, go back to that, we need to bring generally more joy and fun in our life. We are too serious, basically.
Yeah.
And bring this inner child again in this life, and just create things with your family, children, by yourself, however you feel. And this will truly reconnect you with your heart, with your soul. And if people are confused, oh my God, I'm in this job, I don't know how to transit, just slowly reconnect with the joy energy, creative energy, and you'll be much more in your body, and things will start unfolding.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. Who would you say has, really influenced your life, and how you've, done that pivot from one particular aspect of your life into the next phase of it?
Oh, there are many people. So like my first person was my granny, because in my home was lots of chaos. So there was no place for love. So that's why I'm so much about love and helping women and generally everyone open up for love, because there was no love at home. So my granny was so loving always. And it felt like her heart was on her hands and she was just giving to everyone. And for me, she was such a great model to show me like, wow, I want to be like her. And, you know, she was dancing 3 times a week. And I was like, I want to be like that. And, you know, she was having always nice hair done and her dresses. And if someone asked her for age, so for example, she was 70 and so someone asked her, Vanja, how old are you? And she was like, guess. And they said, are you 60? No, 55. And she was like,
I love it.
so she was so funny, you know, and she could get on with anyone, young person, older person, and her spirit was so young. And for me, she was such an example how to be that. Doesn't matter age, just bring the joy and dancing and traveling. So this was she is still my best friend. I mean, not now, but because she passed away a few years ago, but always in my heart. And then huge, I had few people in my job that I was watching how they're managing people and so on. And the really huge influence was my few spiritual teachers, you know, like in London, one of them that she really influenced me and just guided me on this journey. And this is how I manifested actually, she was my first teacher that I've manifested. And then also, people who I met during my traveling in South Asia, and they were so heart-centered, and so I've learned a lot from them, not only about spirituality, you know, how to do healing, not nothing like this, just seeing them so down to earth. And one of my friends, she's 68 now, and she's from Texas, and just her there's authenticity in being raw. Like when she saw anyone in ego, she just caught you like, Karolina, stop this spiritual ego. Or like, she just straight away, it's like, no, not doing way, not, you're not doing this way. You know, this is just like not good vibration. She was just like so authentic, but at the same time, such a huge energy, such a healing, like such a light worker, but never ever putting herself out. She was, people always were finding, you know, her, like I found her. And just her modesty, and even with such a big energy, she was so modest. And she always reminded me about that. You don't need to be another, you know, this kind of guru who is talking of fame. Like you can just be you. And this was amazing teacher, because it's so easy to get lost now, you know, especially when you want to like build your online business. I'm telling you honestly, like seeing all this noise, all this suggestion, how you're supposed to do marketing and how you're supposed to do this. It's just so much noise that you can suddenly pretend someone who you are not. Right. And for me, my friend Marsha was, as soon as she saw something, she said, Karolina, just remind you, like she was straight away to the point. It's like, you don't need that. People will find you. And like, I thank her so much, because I saw other people, how they were going different direction and talking and being that, and it's just not authentic. So she is still my amazing friend and supporter.
You know, you bring up such a valid point, because you do have a viable business, and so does Shelley and I. And one of the things that I know from, you know, having experience running other businesses is this one, I always listen to myself, because alignment is so important. And you bring up a really valid point, because many of us are out there, you know, you want to do right now. I think the internet is where it's at to, you know, start your business. You know, we're all over the world. We have, you know, clients everywhere. We don't need to have, you know, a street address, right? We've got the internet. But it's important to align yourself with your beliefs, who you are, and not get sidetracked by others. And that's important, knowing that and trusting in yourself. And I think trust, Karolina, you had spoken about that before, is such an important word, because many times we fail, we don't listen to ourselves. Can you share with our viewers a little bit about what they can do to start trusting themselves more and not running after maybe something that isn't in their best interests?
Yeah, it's going back what I said, quieting the mind. And for me, what helped me on this journey, really being clear what my values are, what I am about, not my coach, not someone else who is good on marketing or any other spiritual courses. It's like sitting with myself truly and being so honest with myself and like putting on the list what is really important for me. Like for me is the most important connection and growth. So it's like you need to sit with yourself and what are your values? So, and the values, because you are just extension of the business, so you need to find the values and what is truly important for you. What is this business, or who you are? What is this all about? And when you gonna write this down, I had this literally on paper, and this was such a reminder for me. It's like you know, I am about, you know, communities, about connections, you know, all about, you know, being things make right, you know. So this always kept me in my alignment. So this is who I am, and my business is only extension of me. So we need to align everything. And also what I've mentioned, really listening to your heart, because the heart knows everything. But when you're going to be in your mind, of course, so easy to listen other people, comparing yourself, judging yourself, you know, feeling like you're not doing enough and so on. So it's go back to your heart, see what your values, and focus on your strengths and talents and gifts. Don't compare yourself. This is the last things what you can like do, like comparing yourself. It's just like, this is my gifts. Let me focus on this and let me share with the world just that. Like I'm not gonna ever be writing, you know, essays. I'm not a writer. So why would I focus my energy on this and trying to learn these skills? Like I'm gonna focus what I am good at. So just focus on what you are good at and explore that and expand that. And the rest, you can get resources, hire someone to help you. This doesn't matter. But your values and being connected with that and being in your heart, this is the most important.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one
That's beautiful.
to do. That was awesome, because that's something that as a business owner, I know for myself is allowing myself to receive assistance and allowing it to come in. And I mean, I've had some really good assistance, you know, like help, you know, doing certain things as I was learning how to run a business or learning different skill sets. I had help along the way, but it has always been like a thing where I would have a certain level, and this might be for, you know, equally for men and women, but you get in that survival thing. I got to take care of me first. And then how can I like be responsible for someone else too, while I'm building my business and I'm scraping by as, you know, like, so it sets up this. And I think oftentimes people have that kind of fear mentality as they're starting, you know, something new, especially when they're the responsible party, you know, going off and listening to themselves and trusting that it's all going to work out. Everything's all, you know, all's well. Cause you hear that, you know, when you ask and you're like, it's like being a little kid, you're like in your head and you're like, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm having a conversation with my higher self, God, source, whatever, you know, depending on how high you go up, and you're hearing, and they're like, you know, there's this hang time before things start happening, and you're like, okay, and all you're hearing is all's well, and you're like, oh my goodness, I have to trust that and have faith, and like I'm like, I got like, you know, the constable knocking on my door looking for, you know, the taxes or something. I don't know. I'm like being silly, but you're like, oh my God, like you were saying when you were in Thailand, you know, we only have enough food for our next meal. And you're like,
and it's
oh my goodness.
absolutely valid what you said. And it's really looking if you have any beliefs. And I'm telling you, I had to shift that. It's a receiving, because it's not about me sitting on sofa connecting with my heart and do nothing. Your heart will tell you connect with this person. This person will help you with marketing. This person will get you this, and this person will connect you with this. You know, so It's very active energy. It's not passive. But
Right.
again, very good point you mentioned is receiving. And I'm telling you, I think 95% I could easily say, or even more, people don't know how to receive. They think they know how to receive,
Right.
but they don't.
Right.
And also underneath, there are so many beliefs. It's like, I'm alone. I need to do everything by myself. Everyone is first, I'm the last, constantly the giving, over giving. We are so caught up into this energy that we may think that we know how to receive, but we don't.
Right.
And just look at yourself. Are you feeling exhausted? Are you feeling like you burn out or alone? Can you reach out for help? Do you have people? Just see your daily life, and you're gonna see very quickly if you know how to receive or not. And this is very valid. I had to really shift that belief, because I had belief, you see, for all my experiences, traumas, and whatever I had to go through in life, I am alone. I need to do everything by myself. I need to look after myself. I can only rely on myself. So can you see how I'm blocking receiving? Even if I don't know, the God put the person in front of me, the perfect person that will, I don't know, help me with anything. I can say, oh, no, don't worry. I will do it myself. I have plan A,
Yeah.
So this is how people also sabotaging themselves, So yeah, absolutely. It's an action, taking actions, but also receiving, super important.
And that goes in alignment also with love, with finding your perfect mate, because it's all connected. It's all.
I have to comment on, like, even the saboteur is like the guardian of faith and
Yes.
trust. And here you are, you're sabotaging, like I've done it. I'm just more intimately aware of my saboteur now after, 15 to 20 years of it, like, come on, Shelley, wake
Right.
and now I'm finally, like, after all these years, getting it. And I'm like, wow, how that has held the reins and directed my life until I was ready to actually really see that. That was probably one of the last of those survival archetypes that has really been, pulling the string, so to speak, of little Miss Me. And really me learning, okay, what the saboteur is all about. And I just think it's fascinating that throughout this entire show, you keep referring to it. And I'm like, yeah, that's the one I've been dealing with.
I think we all have, because it's the hardest one to get rid of,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's really hard to get rid of that one. It's like, go. You're not welcome anymore, like that song, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's hard because it's been running for generation to generation. Just look at your mother or granny.
Yeah.
Giving, or receiving, like my granny. My mom was buying her clothes. No, I don't need that. I'm sure all your grannies as well. No, I don't need that.
Yeah,
just have it for yourself.
Totally.
And even me, I had to learn, like, receiving money, receiving all these things, like how many people are rejecting money or love in so many different ways, like not knowing how to receive compliments. Like me, coming from Poland, like I didn't know how to receive compliments. When somebody told me, like, you look so pretty, or you have nice dress, I was straight away, excuses, it's old, or for £5, we all get,
Wow.
and I had to consciously choose. I was like, from now on, I receive everything, and at the beginning it was hard.
Yeah.
And still sometimes when somebody gives me like huge amount of money or something is like really big one, it's like, and my mind straight away went to say, no, I can't. But then I said, no, can I receive that? We're receiving. And I had to constantly remind myself, no, we're receiving. I'm giving a lot, but I'm so deserving to receive. It's about the deserving, receiving, and giving yourself permission to receive.
And as you were creating your business and your life, you were asking for that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the universe is providing, and you're like,
exactly.
So you're creating, but then you're like, hell no, I can do it all on my own. And the universe is saying, geez, we just dumped this on you. We gave it to you. Come on, wake up.
Absolutely.
Step out of it, right?
Exactly.
And we all deal with this in so many ways. Relationship, love, anything,
Oh
Absolutely.
man, I'm telling you, it's such an amazing
it's a journey
thing, right?
It is a journey.
Kind of get it.
It is a journey. It is a journey. So you want to share with us that when you finally said, wow, that aha moment that you aligned yourself with what you're doing now, Was it a long journey for you from the time that you walked into that weekend retreat on energy? You were an accountant. I'm sure people didn't even know what you were doing, right? They thought you were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
To where you are today. When did you hit that aha moment and you knew that this was for you?
So definitely this what I mentioned to you when I walk into this room and it felt like I'm home, like just this like I'm home. And so it took me some time to like really is this what I'm supposed to do and how to transit. But it happened very fast, very fast. You know, I started getting people and I was still doing my accountancy work and having clients before work. So like 6 o'clock in the morning or after work, you know, so to practice, to get confident that like I can really do it, because then it's like believing yourself, like, can I really do it? So of course I was doing so many, even for free sessions, just to get the confidence that I can do it. And there was I was then on with my one of my teacher in London, and I was going back home, and on my way I decided to go to there was like a cocoon yoga. So basically you are in the kind of cocoon, like it looks like hammock, and you are like just like a baby there cocooning, and she's just rocking you. And I was in this cocoon rocking like a baby. And suddenly I think, oh my God, tomorrow is Monday and I'm supposed to go to work. And like my soul is like, what the hell are you doing? And this was the moment I said, like, okay, tomorrow I'm giving notice. And I was like, whatever's supposed to happen, happened. I got, of course, ill because my mind freaked out. They said, oh my God, you're going to be begging now for food, you know, and so on. Or you're going to be begging again to get this job back after 3 months. But my soul was dancing. She was like, party, finally you did it. And my mind was like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna do? And of course you listen, all these people, like my friend,
Right.
then it's like, what about pension? You're not gonna have pension now. And about insurance, and you know, like about the like all these things. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't know even if I'm gonna be alive before I get even the pension, you know.
Right.
And I just
pension, right.
but people really think about this, and I just knew that I felt so much in prison when I was doing this spreadsheet. I just couldn't do it anything. Like I just felt like I'm dead, you know. And how many people are in this energy, like they're doing for money, but they are dead, like literally in prison, and they look like zombie. I knew I would rather literally being on the street and begging than just doing another year's accountancy. I just knew that I have to do it.
Or it starts hitting your body in illness in different
absolutely.
ways.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
another way of waking up. When you
absolutely.
When you're
if you don't listen, they put you in bed and until you wake up.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So what do you think it'll take for, you know, people to evolve consciously, you know, as either an individual or as society, as a global unit?
I mean, as an individual, it depends, of course, of what kind of baggage they have, but pretty quick. I mean, you know, you work with me and I see people shifting lives in few months. Like they are different people, even few weeks, they are already shifting so fast. I could give you again so many example from doing sessions with people were coming to me, they were literally trying to kill themselves, you know, or, you know, like completely, you know, like broken on so many levels. And in few months, they were like completely different people, like doing amazing work, getting promotion, meeting the right soulmates, you know, opening businesses. Like it doesn't need to, this doesn't last long. The most important is that you're ready. This is like, if you're ready, the shifts are happening so quick that you're shifting every week. Like that's it. So it's not years, you know, like I would say the worst case, like if you really spend a year truly focusing on yourself, you're not going to recognize yourself. But even spending 3 to 6 months, you will see that you're going to be completely different person. The way how you think, how you talk, you know, what kind of opportunities you're going to attract, what people you're going to connect to. So it's happening fast, especially that now the energies are really supporting us. to transform. They really helping us to raise our vibration, the whole collective. It's like the energy is waiting, hey, people wake up. So my wish and my prayer is that more people waking up, because we're gonna shift the reality on this planet very fast if we choose that.
Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely be on board with all that for sure.
Definitely.
How about you, Shell? So
Yeah.
I think do you have any other questions before I kind of like wind this down a little bit? Shell?
No.
I have another question.
You have another zinger. I love it.
Yeah, I got another zinger.
Zinger.
What do you think is true? What do you think true power is?
Like that.
Knowing yourself, your weaknesses, and what you are good at. Just knowing truly yourself. For me, this is power. Because even if like I know that I get sometimes irritated quickly, and I know that, and I admit that, and I'm not avoiding or pretending someone else. And someone, point this out to me. It's like, Karolina, you are getting so annoyed so quickly. So I know, because I know that. So I don't need to hide anymore. I don't need to pretend someone else. I don't need to put mask. So knowing your strength, being connected with your body, with your heart, knowing who you are, what are your values, and stick with that. This is the power. Nothing pull you away. Nothing and no one. Even COVID.
I love that.
I love that, because there's no greater gift than loving yourself unconditionally and being happy and having peace.
Absolutely, 100%.
I know I've been through that roller coaster of not having any of those things to now that I do, and wow, freedom is wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. So before we go, I felt like you just gave a parting word of wisdom right there. That was like a whole like ba-boom. But I mean, if there's anything else you'd like to add to that, go right ahead. Or also remind our listeners where they can find you on, say, social media or your website, or anything else that you'd like to add if you have anything coming up that is scheduled online. Because I know you do some Zoom things now, and the floor is yours. Let people know where they can find you.
So people can find me on my website. If typing my name, I know it's a long one, karolinablaszkiewicz.com, and I'm on Instagram under Let Love In with Karolina. Again, all the social media, like YouTube as well, is under my name, and people can email me as well. All the information are on my website, basically all the social media links and everything else. So I have few programs, how to attract the right man in your life. So this is there, and also shifting energy about money and mindset about money is there, and small courses as well. So what I'm tuning into this very much is creating 7 months kind of program where we're meeting twice a month. And this is about feminine embodiment with spirituality, because too many women are in head. So it's all about helping them to drop in body, connect with the sensuality, sexuality, with the feminine energy, with the creative energy, honoring ourselves as a woman, basically creating some rituals, but also will be with spirituality as well, because this is part of us, who we are, women. I mean, everyone as well. So I'm still sitting on this tuning, how I'm gonna present this to the world after New Year. So still meditating on that. And generally, if anyone wants to connect with me, has any question, I'm always so happy to connect with people.
It sounds like that sounds like a class I like to take, bringing your sexy back.
Oh, yes.
Like bringing your sexy back, baby.
Absolutely.
Sounds
need
like
more sexy.
The world needs more sexy.
Yes,
more sexy.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say we're so happy that we had you on the show today. We'd love to have you back in the near future. We want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, and thanks again for coming on to the show.
Yes, Karolina, thank you. I love you unconditionally. You're just such a beautiful human being. Thank you for being on this journey with everyone that's listening,
Mm.
because you are here to make a difference in those lives.
And thank you, both of you. Such a great match of energies, ladies. And I so love what you're doing. It's my heart is singing here now and dancing. Seeing this what you're doing. It's so needed, and I hope that so many people now gonna be listening this and. Because you're igniting this fire in them, you're planting all these seeds. So I wish everyone who is listening, you beautiful souls, that those sprouts are really growing, and everyone is blossoming with your support and beautiful guidance and such an amazing energy. So thank you, ladies.
Ah, well, love to you. We feel blessed having you on the show, and a little like little.
And we are going to have you back to talk about getting your sexy on.
Getting your sexy on. Get your sexy on with Karolina.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Thanks again for coming on to the show, Karolina. We so enjoyed having you.
Thank
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Wasn't she amazing, Shell? I just can't get over the words of wisdom that she had to share with us. And it's just, can you imagine, from an accountant to a healer?
Amazing.
You never know. You never know. So as we start 2021, this is an invitation to all of you to start doing something in a new way, to connect with who you really are. If you haven't danced, throw on some music and start dancing. You haven't maybe done some arts and crafts since you were 7 years old, well, run to Michael's and get some arts and crafts, or whatever store you use, or even Amazon. And, get that glue stick and get the paper and all that fun stuff that we just used to love to do when we were kids. It's just about getting into your imagination and your creativity to open up new channels and new avenues, and you'll never be surprised what will come into your life. So I really want to thank our guest today, Karolina, for shedding so many wonderful things in our world, because we're all moving forward. That's the case. And may it bring you some things to think about.
That was awesome, Shell. That was a great recap of the show. Oh my God, I loved it. So anyways, peeps out there, if you enjoyed the episode, leave a review because it helps people find the show. And on the review, mention how Karolina might have helped you, and mention how we may have inspired or motivated you. And also remember to subscribe or download on iTunes or YouTube. Or you can find everything you need to know by going to our website, evolve360show.com. This is Cheli Grace and Shelley Devine with Life and Business with Soul. See you on the next Evolve 360 Shelley Shell Show. Thanks so much for listening.